What's up, everyone? We're finally back after a week hiatus. We're back. KO Breakdown is here, putting money in your pockets. I'm your host, the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman. With me, as always, is my man, Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man. Just talking these LFA fights that are coming later. We were doing that off the air. I'm really excited, but I'm also excited about this card tomorrow. Outside of that, been watching a lot of horror movies, getting ready for Halloween. That's why we weren't here on Wednesday. I saw an early press screening for Halloween, the end or whatever the hell it is, the most recent installment in the Halloween franchise. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Most people didn't. But anyways, we'll see about these fights.
Yeah, I was looking forward to these fights, but a lot of cancellations have come up. Most recently, Brandon Royval is now off the card, as well as Askar Askarov. Askarov was not able to make weight. We don't know the reason. He also turned down a catch weight bout. So I feel like there's something going on in that camp. He's not feeling good. That's probably the reason as to why he pulled out entirely. I don't think he's one of the guys that would just turn down a catchweight fight if he can't make it. I feel like he's probably injured of some sort, and which is why he pulled out. But here we are, 11 fights on tap. We lost arguably the best fight on the card. Just like we lost D-Rod and Magny, which was also probably the second best fight on the card. So now we're down to 11 fights, and we're still gonna make the most of it. There's still money to be made, and let's just jump right into right on the prelims. The first fight up in the prelims is a fight between Mike Jackson and Pete Rodriguez in the welterweight division. Right now, Rodriguez is a massive -700 all the way up to a -915 favorite. The comeback on Jackson +450. Plus 399 all the way up to plus 525, around that range. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, full disclosure, I've met Mike Jackson a few times. I met him at a couple Houston cards, like regional scene. He's a nice guy. It's always difficult picking against him just because he is a nice guy. But I'm always wondering, like this fight in particular, why is this even on a UFC card?
Filler.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of like Rodriguez is interesting to look at. Like he looks like a character you would make in a video game. Like if you were like 7 and you're like, this is what a UFC fighter looks like. And unless Mike Jackson wins by random DQ, there's probably no way Rodriguez doesn't win this fight. I'm assuming round 1 KO. Sorry, Mike. But that's just the way it's going to happen. I would assume.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I feel like this is here's a bone. We're sorry for throwing you against Jack Della Maddalena on short notice. Here's a bone. We're just gonna throw you this. You get your first UFC win, and then we'll start fresh. We'll start anew. We'll start this relationship over, because what they did to Pete Rodriguez is unheard of. The dude was only, I think, 4-0, super young in his career. He had a good amateur career, but I mean, that was such a massive step of a competition. We knew what the writing was pretty much on the wall. Jack Della, he's extremely good. He's a guy that's probably a title contender in a couple of years. And then Rodriguez had to fight him on short notice. So Mike Jackson, obviously, we know who he is. His claim to fame is beating CM Punk. He's lost to Mickey Gall. He got eye gouged like you've never seen ever in a UFC fight in your entire life against Dean Barry. And he's somehow 2-1 in his MMA career, I believe, which is absurd. But here we are. Mike Jackson's, I guess he's there for a paycheck. I'm not really understanding why he's on the roster, why he's fighting. He's not really a full-time fighter. He's not a guy that's going in, putting in the work like someone like Pete Rodriguez is. Pete Rodriguez also trains at the MMA lab. I feel like he's only going to get better. He's got some legit power in his hands. And I feel like he's an actual fighter. Jackson is a photographer. I mean, this is a line where I can, okay, this makes sense. I mean, this is a line that you would see on the regional scene because this is a regional type of fight. I mean, this is a fight you will see in LFA. This is a very lopsided fight. You have a fighter, an MMA fighter, and a guy that's playing pretend to be a fighter just for a day.
Hey,
So
he does show up. I mean, he did
he
show
does.
up.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm talking a little bit too much crap, but it takes a lot for someone to go in there and fight.
Yeah.
I just don't think his skills are at Pete Rodriguez's level. Let's put it that way.
Well,
You know
and
what I mean?
also too, like you mentioned, he is a photographer, but I also think I think he has another job outside of that. So it's like a side hustle of a side hustle,
Right.
which I mean, props to him. The dude has more UFC wins than I can ever throw a stick at.
Right.
But it's and that in itself is actually fairly impressive. But there is levels to this, and if you're going to beat someone like Pete Rodriguez, you're going to have to put in the time and effort, like you said. Mike Jackson, special kind of animal, but I just don't see lightning striking twice. I'll just put it that way, or three times, I guess I could say.
Yeah, I'm expecting an early knockout. I mean, Rodriguez got some legit power. I feel if he just touches him with one overhand right, he's probably going to put him down, put him away, probably inside 2 minutes, I would assume. I mean, he's got power.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if he does get another DQ win, Forrest did ask, why is he still in the UFC? How is he still in the UFC? I think a lot of it is because he does have a really good relationship with, the UFC. Like he does photography for LFA. He does photography for all of those up and coming, shows that are on Fight Pass. And he has a pretty big following on Twitter, Instagram, because of which. And he's a likable guy. He's a nice guy. He will communicate. He will have a conversation with you. He knows how to talk. So that's the answer to your question. He's not like he's a personality.
Yeah, he's a special case. You know what I mean? He still got some skills. It's not like he doesn't know how to fight. The dude still knows how to fight. I just don't think he could fight as good as Pete Rodriguez. Like, if he were to go and shoot his shot, against some regional fighters in like LFA or Titan or something like that, he could get some wins, absolutely. But he's cutting the cloth and right at the top.
Yeah.
It's very unheard of. Your first pro fight is in the UFC. And I just think it's crazy, but here we are. He's now, 4 fights into his professional career in the UFC. Kudos to him, but I just think this is a terrible matchup.
Yeah, we've talked about this way too much.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's keep it moving. Our next fight up is in the flyweight division between Tatsuro Taira and Carlos Vergara. Right now, Taira minus 260. The comeback on Vergara plus 220. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that I'm very happy that it didn't get canceled. I'm excited for this one. If there's anything else to get excited for on this card, it's definitely Tatsuro Taira. Jumping on the other side, CJ Vergara, Cledson Rodriguez, he isn't an easy out, and Vergara did beat him. It was a split decision win, but still a feather in the cap. And he fought Jonathan Martinez. Okay, there is no doubt that Vergara has faced decent competition, but Taira has beaten decent guys too. None of their names I can pronounce, but this isn't a padded record. Normally we get these new guys with these crazy names and they're 0-8, whatever. The guys that Tatsuro has beat are decent guys. Not only is Tatsuro one of the top prospects in Japan, but he's one of the top guys in the world. I'd assume he finds the sub, but I wouldn't be surprised with some ground and pound. Either way, I'm pretty sure he rolls here. I like him inside the distance just because I feel like he could get it via sub or ground and pound.
I like Tatsuro Taira too. I like his abilities. He mixes things up well on the feed. He's defensively sound for the most part, and he's electric when he gets to the ground. His groundwork is phenomenal, especially his back take, his rear naked choke. He's very, very good on the mat. Vergara, on the other hand, he's just a gritty fighter. He's a guy that throws volume. He comes forward, gets in your face, wants to just grind you up against the cage, just do more, be in the fight, and he just likes to fight. But the thing was with Vergara, he came in overweight, 3 pounds he missed on the mark. So we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's never a good look. Last person I remember missing weight in the last couple fights, I think, was Hakeem Dawodu, and he was absolutely drained. Vergara looked drained on the scales as well.
Who was it? Who was it, Garrett?
Yeah, I know. That's why I was a little tempted to even to bring that up right here. But Forrest, the odds right now, Tyra minus 260 to come back on, Vergara's plus 220. Yeah, man. I mean, I like Tyra's abilities. I just want him to use his grappling more. I don't want him to utilize his striking too much in this fight because I feel like he's got a pretty sizable advantage in the grappling, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. He's much better on the mat than Vergara will ever be. So as long as he does that and just fights smart, he should win. If he plays too much on the feet, I feel like the fight's probably going to be a bit closer than the line suggests. But if he gets it to the mat, I think he could probably get the finish inside 2 rounds. Let's keep it moving. All right. Next up in the women's strawweight division, we have a fight between Sam Hughes and Piera Rodriguez. Right now, Rodriguez minus 158 all the way up to minus 175. Come back on Hughes plus 130 to plus 145. Who do you got?
Piera Rodriguez should win this. She has the tools, but she is lacking the size. I just don't think Hughes is all that great, and she doesn't do well with anyone with speed. I'd assume Piera finds the finish one way or another, continues her unbeaten streak. A dominant decision could be in the cards. It just really depends on if Hughes throws in the towel. Minus 200, that was a blessing, so grab it if you could. What is it now, you said?
For Piera Rodriguez right now, the line, she's at minus 158 on Bet Online, and she's all the way up to minus 175 elsewhere. Minus 170, minus 175 on Bet Any Sports. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, earlier this week it was minus 200.
Yeah,
and so I feel like that's a blessing. Grab it while you can. I'm actually fairly confident in her. And, I would actually use this as a parlay piece, but that's just me. And, I like Piera Rodriguez parlay piece. I don't know. That's me. It's women's MMA. So that's the only scary part of it.
And I don't know, man. I haven't been impressed with Rodriguez on her Contender Series fight. Yeah, she's aggressive. She comes forward. She throws some good volume. She got some good punches and good combinations and all that. But what we see in the Kay Hansen fight, she can get taken down. She can get controlled. And Kay Hansen's not the best wrestler, the best grappler. Yes, she's good, but she's not great. And I think Sam Hughes is better than Kay Hansen in those regards. She's also stronger than Kay Hansen. She's bigger than Kay Hansen. I think Hughes is going to make this a dogfight, and that's what she does very well. And she's just only been progressing. Hughes has fought in the much better competition. After getting absolutely obliterated in the fight against Tisha Torres, she changed her game plan. She's not coming in there and just trying to outbrawl her opponents. She's mixing things up. She's going against the cage. She's, dragging them to the mat, and she's beating girls that she could beat. These are regional fighters that she's beating. She's taking on Rodriguez, who's only her second fight into her UFC career. Very young. She's only 8-0. I mean, these are girls that Hughes would be fighting on the regional scene. So as long as she's not fighting girls in the top 15, I would always take a stab on Hughes as a dog because it's a 50-50 fight, and she's good enough to beat someone like Rodriguez. Is she good enough to beat someone in the top 15, top 10? I don't think so. But girls on her level, I would take her at dog money.
Yeah, too bad you didn't play it earlier, man.
I know. I'm not. It's not one I'm gonna run and bet on. But if I were to bet on this fight, I would have to take the dog money on Hughes. She's cashed as an underdog already multiple times, and she's got a winning way going right now. She's won 2 in a row on the biggest stage, facing girls very similar to Rodriguez. So I mean, I think didn't she be Estela Nunez or someone of this? someone like that.
I mean, who knows? Who keeps up with that stuff?
I know, but like what I'm trying to say is like that's literally the same type of fighter that Rodriguez is. A good striker, heavy hands, throws some good combinations, but lacks the grappling. And I kind of see the same route. As long as she doesn't get knocked out.
She did beat her.
Yeah.
Majority decision too.
Yeah. Yeah, she just kept dragging her to the mat, using her grappling up against the fence with the clinch work, and I feel like she's a dog. You know, as long as if you don't take her out, she's gonna come in there and she's gonna come forward and she's just gonna try and make it gritty. She reminds me of a Carlos Vergara, the same type of fighter. She's gonna come forward, she's gonna get in your face, throw some heavy combinations, and try to drag you to the mat. So yeah, I would take a little bit of a dog shot on Hughes if you wanted to bet on this fight, but me personally, I'm sitting this one out.
I feel like that's just the safer bet ultimately.
Yeah. Let's keep it moving. All right. Next fight up is in the featherweight division between Joe Anderson, Brito. It's not Brito. It's Brito. I didn't know that. And Lucas and Lucas Alexander. Right now, Brito minus 400 all the way up to minus 480. The comeback on Alexander plus 300 to plus 320. Who do you got?
You know, Alexander coming in on short notice, and it's a pretty big step up in competition. These guys match up well, so I think that we will see a competitive fight. But ultimately, as you said, Brito, like Brito. Okay, Brito. You say Brito, I say Britato, whatever. Brito, you know, he should be too much for the newcomer. Alexander is still a bit too green for my taste, but I think he lasts the full 15. And Brito probably gets his hand raised. I like Brito by decision here.
Yeah, I like Brito as well. But Alexander's a fun prospect. The dude's got some heavy hands. He's got KO power. He's very elusive. He's fast on the feet, good kicks. He's a good signing. He trains at Fusion XL with Phil Rowe and all those guys. And up there, you know, Mike Davis. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of other guys. I'm just drawing a blank right now. But
Mike Beast Boy Davis.
Mike Davis. All right.
Show.
But yeah, man, Alexander's fun to watch. I know this is a massive step up in competition on 5 days notice, but he made weight. He's looking fresh. I'm excited to see, you know, what he's made of on the big stage. Brito, you know what you're getting from him. He's got heavy hands, good leg kicks, good submission game on the mat. He's a total package. He's coming off a knockout win against Andre Fili, super early in the fight. I mean, this dude's a finisher through and through, and I feel like he's gonna catch Alexander at some point inside the first 2 rounds. Brito's coming. He's coming early. He's throwing heavy hands, and Alexander leaves his hands down when he's trying to stay at range and using his kicks and his length. And I think he's gonna get caught at some point and get put away. Hopefully I'm wrong. I want to see a banger. I feel like if this goes 15 minutes, it's going to be an absolute war between these two. So I'm hoping that, you know, comes to fruition. But ultimately, I think Alexander succumbs to strikes by Brito, and he gets him out of there inside 2 rounds.
Yes, just so you're in the loop as to why I think it'll go all 15, because of the short notice replacement. I think Alexander is going to kind of cash on the idea of like him, like if he can last the 15, that's kind of like an internal win. So I think he's just going to try to last ultimately. And so that is kind of what that's where my mind is at, if you know what I'm saying. I
think Alexander's going to come balls to the goddamn wall as he comes out there. Like, I don't think he's going to, I'm not going to say he's just going to come out and throw wild shit, but I feel he's going to come out there and really throw some volume and not try
some shit.
Like throw some shit. I mean, like he's going to come out with some heat. I just feel like they're going to come out and throw down in the center and someone's going to get knocked the fuck out. Whether it's Alexander or Brito, someone's going down at some point because these guys they're just going to want to throw some hands. They got throw some hands.
This is another one of the fights that's like a good, like like you might not know these names necessarily just yet, but like these are the ones to watch. Like it has a bunch of good prospects on this card. I mean, it sucks we lost the Askarov fight, but yeah, there are a few that will make up for it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of them. Also, the Tyra and Vergara fight's another good fight. And the next fight up, I'm looking forward to as well in the middleweight division between Nick Maximo and Jacob Malkoun. Right now, Maximo is minus 123 all the way up to minus 138 in the comeback on Malkoun, plus 100 to plus 110. Who do you got?
Yeah, so Forrest read my mind. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. As boring as Malkoun is, he's a tough out for anyone. And this fight is no exception. Malkoun is a weird matchup for Maximov. And as much as I wasn't ready, as much as I want Max to get back on track, I think Malkoun does what he does and keeps Maximov on the ground and on the fence. It'll be boring, but I'll take it, especially if I can catch on Malkoun by decision.
I don't know, man. I've been flip-flopping in this fight, but I feel like I got a rival Maximo in this one. Yeah, I know he got choked out, but against Andre Petrosky, again in his patented anaconda choke. That's literally his bread and butter. He trains that day in, day out. But I mean, he's faced like legit grapplers and wrestlers in each of his last few fights. Punahele Soriano is a collegiate wrestler. Cody Brundage, collegiate wrestler. Petrosky, collegiate wrestler. And I mean, these are legit wrestlers. Malkoun is a wrestler in his own right. He's got some credentials in jiu-jitsu. I think he's won a couple of jiu-jitsu tournaments. I think a Pan Am championship he's won. But he's also only a brown belt. Maximo's a black belt under Gracie over there in Northwest. I don't know which Gracie, so I'm butchering it a little bit. But also, I saw Malkoun and Allen. Yes, he's got good takedowns, but he's got terrible control. He can't control his opponents. He let Brendan Allen get back to his feet numerous times. He let Brendan Allen scramble and reverse positions. He's going against Maximo, who's bigger than him, who's just as skilled as a grappler than him, and he's great in the scrambles. He's great at back takes. I think Malkoun's going to open up and let Maximo be able to take advantage and counter him and reverse him, get some top control, kind of like what he did against Soriano. You know, he was able to take him down and just wearing him and rinse and repeat. It's just, he did the same thing against Cody Brundage. I think Maximo is the best grappler that Malkoun has faced. And I think it's going to be at his demise because Malkoun doesn't really have any submission game at all. Even though he won the Pan Am Championship, he's got absolutely zero submission game whatsoever. So he's just a guy that wants to come, take you down, lay on you, and get some ground and pound. I just don't see him being able to do that against Maximo. I think he's going to be able to reverse him, and then he's going to be the one that's able to be on top, landing some strikes and more control because Maximo is way better at control than Malkoun is. A lot better. I mean, he did it against Soriano. He did it against Brundage. We've seen it. Even against a guy that was probably like 60 pounds heavier than him on the Contender Series. He was able to do that against him as well. So I think this is going to be a great grappling match because these two guys aren't going to come there and look to stand. Maximo is going to shoot on anybody. He doesn't care who he's going against. He's shooting. He is shooting that ankle pick, and then he's just going to try to drag you to the mat. It's just the most bizarre way to try to drag someone to the mat and just dive for their ankle and try to pull it down right into you. It's just crazy, but he's super strong and he's able to do it. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to this fight, but I have to side with Maximo. Might not bet it, but I'm definitely very excited to see how this one plays out because the scrambles are going to be insane between these two.
Well, if Maximo wins, I mean, I will definitely go on the record to say it's probably going to be a more entertaining fight. But if Malkoun wins, it's going to be boring as all hell. It's going to be 15 minutes of, lay and pray. So
yeah, I mean,
for that sake, I want Maximov to win. Maximo.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not severely confident in this, but after looking at the tape, we've seen Malkoun get reversed. And the guys that he's actually being able to hold down are guys that have absolutely zero ground game whatsoever in their entire body. AJ Dobson and Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Those guys have no idea how to wrestle at all. Like, at all. So you're going to be able to hold them down. Two guys that he can't wrestle against, Phil Hawes and Brendan Allen, beat him. And then now you got Maximo, another guy who I don't think he's going to be able to hold down. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's keep it moving. Next fight up is in the bantamweight division between Rafael Assunção. He's back in action, age 40 years old. Crazy. And Victor Henry on the comeback, minus 425 for Henry. The comeback for Assunção plus 305 to 325. What do you got?
Yeah. Right off the bat, I want to draw attention to Henry's Tapology picture. If you guys want to do yourself a favor and go look it up, he looks like. Why did they have a picture of Joanna on there? Like it looks like Joanna. Anyway, on to Henry, on to this fight. Henry surprised everyone with his win over Barcelos, and while I think he gets it done here, we got to remember that Henry isn't Ricky Simon. He isn't Corey Sandhagen. Hell, he isn't even Cody Garbrandt. And while I do think that he should be the rightful favorite, we haven't seen him since January. It is time to take Assunção out the pasture, or I would assume so anyway, but we'll definitely find out on Saturday. Henry is my pick, and I think he gets it done via KO. I'm just not sure laying money on an unproven fighter, at these crazy odds, unproven in the sense of UFC proven, UFC caliber. Minus whatever. I feel like it's just a little crazy of odds for this fight. Rafael, he beat Aljo. I like Victor Henry KO. Take it or leave it. It's hard for me to lay the chalk.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that. But I mean, this guy he's on a decent win streak. Yeah, he lost the fight against someone we really don't know, but let's see how that even panned out. He was 9-2, now he's 12-2. So at least the guy's been winning. So that's not a bad thing. He's been winning.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. But then what he did against Jaime Barcelos was extremely impressive. He weathered the early storm. He defended 6 of 7 takedowns. He throws insane amount of volume. You're talking about a guy in round 3 threw 200 strikes in round 3. That's insane. That's unheard of, especially at 135 pounds.
Yeah.
You talk about a guy that threw about 400 strikes in his last fight. I mean, that's insane. And then you got Assunção, who hasn't seen round 3 since 2019.
That's a good point.
He has not seen round 3 since 2019. And guess how many strikes he threw in that round? 30.
Oh, shit.
30 strikes in that round. So that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, Henry's got to get this win here. He's literally at his peak. Yes, I know he's 35 and he's just coming into the UFC. He's only 1-0, but he looked damn good. This is his peak. This is his prime. I feel like this is the reason why they gave him Barcelos. I think it was fairly short notice, who's super tough. He was basically fringe top 15 coming into that fight. And now they're giving him a guy that was a mainstay in the top 15 in Rafael Assunção. So they have some praise for this guy because he's a finisher through and through. And he's fought legit competition outside the UFC. I mean, he fought for Ryzen Fighting Federation.
He's fought everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, RCC, Deep Impact. I mean, this dude has been around mostly on the Asian circuit, but I feel like this is his time to show what he's about. I think he's legit. He showed that last fight. He's going to show it here. And yeah, he's going to be way too much for him. I mean, come on, he's 5 years younger, and what he was able to accomplish against someone like Barcelos in the last fight, I think he could just replicate the same here and possibly get a Sunsao out of there. We'll see what happens.
It's just the chalk that I have an issue with.
Yeah, and I totally get it, because Hassan Sao, look who he's beaten, look who he's been fighting against, legit competition in top ranked fighters. But I think Victor Henry is one of the guys that should be a top ranked fighter, and we'll see if that's true or not. We'll see. All right, next up, we got a fight in the bantamweight division between Mana Martinez and Brandon Davis. Right now, Mana minus 150 all the way up to minus 165 to come up on Davis, plus 125 all the way up to plus 135. Who do you got?
As much as I want to like Mana Martinez, he's very difficult to like. I believe he's a Texas boy as well. He hasn't shown me shit since joining the UFC. His few regional wins aren't really that remarkable either. He lost on Tuesday night, and he's going to lose to Brandon Davis on Saturday. Brandon has faced stiffer competition, and he'll fight for your money. I know that his last couple fights, he's looked a little slower, but me and my money, we're picking Davis to win with the plus money. Honestly, though, not sure why either of these guys are in the UFC. Loser packs their bags. Brandon Davis.
My only drawback I'm betting on Brandon Davis is the fact that he's coming back off a surgically repaired knee. I never want to bet on a guy that's super shop worn, has a ton of wars that he's been through, and now he's coming off, I think, about a year or so layoff after a surgically repaired knee. It's never a good thing. And now he's got to go and have to wrestle and have to grapple and use that leg as much as humanly possible to drag this fight to the mat, because Mana will put his lights out if he just stands in front of him. It's guaranteed to happen. It happened last fight. It will happen this fight if he goes in there and thinks he's going to brawl with Mana. It's not going to happen. He's going to get his lights put out. Mana's got legit power at 135 pounds. And he's got the length to match with Davis, where Davis is normally the bigger, taller, lankier guy. Well, Mana can match his size, and Mana is definitely the faster of the two on the feet. So that's where I'm kind of having a drawback betting on Davis, because, he's getting up there. I mean, he's only like 32, but the guy's been through a ton of wars, and then he's been fighting with a bum knee for years, he said. And he finally made it to the UFC again. And then he got the surgery that he needed because he didn't have the money for the surgery. So, who knows what he's going to be like after the first fight back. I never like betting on a guy after surgery on their first fight back. Let them get in there, get their feet wet. If they win, they win. So be it. I'd rather do that than bet on the guy and then they lose because of that surgically repaired limb. So yeah, I would take him, Mana, to get the knockout here.
I mean, everything you're saying makes sense. It's just, I don't know. I haven't been impressed with him lately. I mean, but at the same time, I don't think either one of these guys belong in the UFC at this stage in Davis's career. It just doesn't make much sense. But yeah, the guy fights way too often. But he has to for his family.
That is true. All right, we're finally up to our main card. Our first fight up is in the light heavyweight division between Misha Cirkunov and Alonzo Menefield. Right now, the line is set at minus 209 to minus 225 for Menefield to come back on Cirkunov, plus 164 to plus 178. Who do you got?
Yeah. This is not a good fight. It's not fun. It's like, what do you, I mean, I get it. Menefield should win this fight. I'm just having a hard time betting him. Yeah.
Should.
I'm having a hard time betting him at minus 225. He's shit the bed so many times, but who shit the bed more? His opponent.
Yep.
I'm assuming this fight starts slow, but Menefield should have his way wherever the fight goes. A KO is likely, but I wouldn't be surprised if the fight finds its way to the ground and Minifield gets the win there. I don't really think Misha is that great. But yeah, ultimately, Minifield should win this fight. Again, kind of like the last or the fight prior to this, it's the chalk. I'm having an issue with the chalk, but yeah, all signs point to Minifield inside the distance.
You know what's holding me back from betting on Minifield?
His gas tank?
No, losing a fucking decision to William Knight.
Yeah, William Knight. Yeah, because this same thing could happen.
How do you lose a decision to William Knight? Like, how? How is that possible? And you want me to bet on you at minus 225? I just can't do it. Do I think he wins? Yes, because I think Serkinov is on his last legs. I think he's 0-3 in his last 3. I feel like this is his goodbye fight. His chin really isn't there anymore. And he's going against one of the more powerful punchers in the division. But Minifield doesn't throw a ton of volume. He does not. He throws single shots. You can get up on the scorecards on him by just doing more. Serkinov is the much better grappler and wrestler. We'll see what happens, but like if I had to predict, I'm predicting an early knockout because I just don't believe Serkinov's chin is still intact on his body. And Manifield's gonna make sure that it's detached after this fight. So I'm taking Minifield to win via first round knockout.
Yeah, it seems like there was like a moment in Minifield's career where he just kind of like stopped looking for the knockout. Or I mean, he still had it in the back of his mind, but it seemed like he's starting to pace himself a little bit better. And so that's what makes me nervous. Is he going to continue to pace himself here, and then Serkinov's going to take advantage of that and get him to the ground, or like it's just very difficult to predict because it really depends on both game plans and then who executes what game plan better. Plus the fight IQ, there's so many variables. The fight IQs of both of these guys, the gas tanks, the chins.
I do like the under 1.5 at minus 120 though.
That's not bad. I mean, that's because then
they're like someone's fragile enough. You got Minifield. If he gets taken down once, he probably gets subbed. And I feel like if Minifield lands one heavy right hand flush on the chin, Serkinov's probably going down.
Yeah, I agree.
Forrest Danger's like he's like, my comments have been blacklisted. He's saying, you want to see a dead body? Watch this Minifield fight. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, next up, we got a fight in the middle of division between Dushko Todorovic and Jordan Wright. Right now, Todorovic minus 210 all the way up to minus 227. The comeback on Wright plus 170 to plus 188. Who do you got?
I actually get the logic of betting Wright in this one just based on Dusko's last fight. But at the same time, I like Dusko. I like him to get this done inside the distance. Wright is interesting, and he's fairly athletic. But Dusko is the type of guy to take you down, let you up, and take you down again. I think it'll be a bit too much for Wright, and because of this, Dusko will probably get the win via ground and pound. And there's not much more to it. I like him inside the distance. And yeah, Wright's chin is kind of failing him as of late. So I think it'll go very similarly to Dusko's last fight, except he gets the win, and but he'll be on the opposite side of the win-loss there.
I feel like if you're going to bet Wright, you bet him in round 1.
Yep.
I mean, he's got knockout power. He's got the length. He uses his length very well. He's a good kickboxer, a karate style kickboxer, very unorthodox. And he's got legit power. And we know that Dushko has been knocked out in previous fights, but against elite level competition. Yep. I mean, the competition level that Dushko has compared to Jordan Wright is levels better. But yeah, if you're gonna bet right, you gotta bet him around one plus 350 to plus 425, 450, 460 around that range. Because I feel like if it leaves round one, that means Dushko's fighting his fight, and that's grappling, and that's mixing things up between the striking and the grappling. And Wright has to catch Dushko coming in at some point.
Yep.
If not, he's gonna get taken down. I feel Dushko probably gets a submission, and I do like the submission prop on Todorovic, which is at plus 400 to plus 475. He's got some submission game. It's very underrated. We've seen him take down Chidi and Joquani, so he has that game. We've seen him go and finish Daquan Townsend on the mat as well. So I feel like if he mixes things up, Todorovic should get back into the win column. I think he's got the higher ceiling, and I think he's got a more well-rounded skill set. He's got power on the feet. He's good at using his range, much like Wright. They use a very wide base, using a lot of kicks to stay at distance. And Todorovic is definitely the much better grappler between the two. I mean, Wright just got submitted via guillotine choke, and that was pathetic. And that was just that was just bad. So yeah. I feel like if Todorovic is able to get him on the mat, he's probably going to finish him.
Well, and also our boy Forrest Daniels brings up a good point too. The Jordan Wright's gas tank is not the best. So if Dushko, plays his game and does take him down, has his way with him and sticks to his game plan, it is very possible that he does get the submission win or does get the ground and pound round 2, round 3, which I think that both of us are kind of in agreement.
Yes, we are. We are in agreement. Dushko gets back into the win column and then sends Jordan Wright packing. There's gonna be a lot of cuts on this card. I see it. I mean, there's a lot of potential cuts on this card, like a lot.
Well, I think honestly, Beverly Hills Ninja, I think just him being so weird kind of kept him on the roster for kind of like the Sam Alvey effect, maybe, because people know who he is, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does stick around as like a gatekeeper for like the newcomers from Tuesday Night Contender Series. But at the same time, would I miss him? Not really. At least he proves he's not like a complete jackass. Like, it's not a character he's playing. He actually is this weirdo. Yeah. But at the same time, he's kind of like, that's our weirdo, So it is what it is.
Our man David said we missed you guys last week. We missed you too, man. We miss being here with you guys each and every week. But don't worry, we're back. I know UFC is back on for the next, I think, 4 or 5 weeks straight. So we'll be here each and every week putting money in your pockets. And you guys get to hang out with us, chat it up with us, talk some fights, make some bets, make some money. And that's what we're here for. Enjoy it.
Sorry, David. We would have been here on Wednesday, but I had a prior engagement, went and saw a movie early, no big deal.
No big deal. NBD.
So yeah, but we're here now, and we'll be here next week and the week after.
Yes, sir. All right. Our next fight up, I think, is our co-main. Yeah, we're on a co-main event, and I'm looking forward to this one. And the bantamweight division between Jonathan Martinez and newly minted bantamweight Cub Swanson. Right now, Martinez minus 204 all the way up to minus 250 to come back on Cub plus 165 to plus 180. What do you got?
You see the comment? Yeah. It happens very sparingly, but I don't know. I'm in top talks with other companies now, so I might get invited to more. Anyways, Cub Swanson at all the pressers has been kind of weird. Like, I think it's interesting, but I also think, like, are you doing this just to like make us look another direction? It's like the old magician trick, like, watch this hand and then everything shifts over here. I think that this is a lot closer than the line indicates, though. Swanson only loses to the best competition, and Martinez has trouble getting started in some fights. If Martinez can keep the pace up, he should be fine. Just needs to keep his range and fight Swanson at distance. But that's the issue. Cub has no stop in him until the end. Plus, he's getting older. He pushes the pace and is always looking to finish the fight. Martinez's slow starts may be the opening Swanson needs to secure the victory, though. But I think I'm going to side with the youth here. Old Pedro just needs to stick to the game plan, and he'll eventually get Cub with something dirty. He just needs to attack when Cub is injured. You know what I'm saying? Attack the bear when he's hurt. I like Martinez by KO. I think he gets it done. I think Cub, is being weird again because he's trying to be a magician, and I don't see him. I think we're just gonna get an old guy in the octagon on Saturday.
Yeah, I feel we're gonna see a lot slower version of Cub Swanson. I don't think cutting down to 135 for the first time of your entire career at age 38 is ever a good thing. It's never a good thing when you see an aging fighter come down in weight. I don't, unless you're Jose Aldo. That's the only one. That's the only anomaly. Every other time has not gone well. So, yeah, I don't like that. I think Martinez, he uses his range very well. Those kicks are very lethal. He's gonna batter Cub Swanson's lead leg. He's gonna absolutely batter it with inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks. He's gonna absolutely batter it. We've seen his leg get battered in the Pineda fight. After, mind you, he's on a surgically repaired knee. I'm not sure how many times he's had it repaired, but it got battered in that fight, and then he got ended by kicks in the Giga Chikadze fight after that, and then he fought Darren Elkins, who's basically a human punching bag. I feel the kicks are going to be such a major weapon, from the body to the head to the to the calf, and we know shooting and then hitting to the body with body shots is really going to make Cubs slow down even more, especially at 135 pounds. So I feel like a lot of those slapping body kicks are going to do a ton of damage, and those calf kicks are going to do a ton of damage as well. I mean, Pineda almost finished him with leg kicks. He could barely stand up, but he landed one big punch, and that was it, because Pineda was fighting stupid and just thought he was going to finish him. So I think Martinez is probably going to finish Cub Swanson, get the biggest win of his career, and hopefully get inside the top 15 after this.
A lot of people, let me rephrase that. A lot of the Cub backers are really pulling for a performance like the Pineda fight, and Martinez is so much more polished than Pineda. Martinez can fight off his back foot. He can knock somebody out walking backwards. I mean, it's not going to be as strong if he was walking forwards, but I just feel like Martinez is being put in a position to succeed here. And I'm excited to see, who he calls out after this fight. And the dude is well-spoken, and he's also very well-mannered. So there's a very good chance he doesn't call out anybody, but this is his time to shine. And I'm very excited to see him get the KO dub.
Yeah, this is, he's 3-0 right now. 3-0 in his last 3 fights. I think his last loss was a David Grant fight. It's a fight that he was winning until he got caught. And, I know Cubs got power as much as David Grant does, but David Grant's got some crazy unorthodox style that, you don't see coming, winging hooks from his hip, and just throwing wild shots until something finally lands, and he landed right on the button. Where Cub is, what he's doing. He's throwing perfect combinations, and it's coming straight at you, versus coming with all these different type of techniques. You're talking about, Davey Grant was throwing spitting back calf kicks and random side kicks and shit. So I feel like that was kind of what threw him off. But Cub is just going to come forward and try to throw some hands, and I feel like Martinez is going to be able to just get out of the way, use his kicks, stay at range, and just pepper him for 15 minutes and possibly put him away once he gets a nasty head kick. I feel like a head kick puts him down. Who would you two parlay on this card? That's my last question. Appreciate the time. Who would you parlay on this card?
Let's come back to that. So that way it'll give them something to look forward to whenever we conclude the show.
All right, let's keep it moving. All right, we're on our main event of the evening. We have a fight in the women's flyweight division between Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo. Right now, Grasso is a minus 219 all the way up to minus 243 favorite to come back on Araujo, plus 183 all the way up to plus 205. Who do you got?
Yeah, I liked Grasso at minus 175. At this point, I feel like it's long gone unless you want to bet a parlay. Did anyone say parlay?
Parlay.
Or if you want to do a prop, And so I think Grasso is going to do what Grasso does. She's going to box and tag Araujo, or however the fuck you say her name, for the entirety of this fight. This one has all of the writing on the wall for a boring decision win. And based on their track records, Grasso should get her hand raised. Araujo, how do you say it, dude?
Araujo.
Araujo, her only hope would be to wrestle. But with her gas tank, the way it is, I'm not sure that that's a solid path to victory, considering this is a 5-round fight. I probably won't be betting, but I like Grasso by decision.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident in Grasso's abilities here. We know how bad Araujo fades after round 2. Every single round 3, she's extremely tired. Doesn't matter who she's going against or what the fuck she's doing. She's tired in every fight that hits the 3rd round. She definitely has the advantage in the grappling. She's a BJJ black belt. She's got good submissions. She's got good power on the feet, but she's got 10 minutes to get the win. She has 10 minutes.
Yep.
If she doesn't win in 10 minutes, she's losing rounds 3, rounds 4, and rounds 5. Guaranteed. And she better not lose round 1 or 2, because then she's going to be down 4 rounds to 1 when it hits the judge scorecards. But I also think that Grasso can get a win in rounds 4 or 5 when, Araujo's extremely gassed, going for takedowns, ill-advised takedowns, getting beat up on the feet because Grasso's got some legit boxing. She's very good on her feet, very quick, very fast. And then her grappling's gotten a lot better. I mean, she just subbed Joanne Wood in the 1st round in her last fight. She defended some takedowns. She got her own takedown, and then she took her back and subbed her in the 1st round. That was extremely impressive. I think the sky's the limit for her. I think this is going to be the biggest win of her career. And this fight could really put her in title contention if she makes it look, convincing, and it was a dominant victory, because it's going to be beat between Caitlin Chikagian, Manon Fiorot, or Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo. Those are the 4 that is probably going to get a title shot next. So it really boils down to who does it better. If Grasso comes in there and gets a knockout, which I do think she could possibly do, especially in the later rounds, she could be next. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm very confident in her abilities to get the job done.
Yeah, same here. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's not a great main event, but at the same time, I mean, it could be worse. It could be
Mackenzie Dern versus Jan in the last one, in our last main event.
Or Mike Jackson and Pete Rodriguez.
or that. Actually, no, that would have been better, because it would have been a knockout. We don't have 25 minutes of it.
Fair enough. But sometimes I like a nice back and forth. Ask my wife.
All right, so we're finally at the end.
Okay,
so let's talk about this parlay. Our man Forrest Daniel, let's put that question right back up there. All right, who would you 2 parlay on this card? That's my last question. I appreciate the time. Who would you parlay on this card?
I would do. Okay, I'm gonna do Pete Rodriguez, because I probably will do this. Because I was thinking about it earlier. Because I did an LFA parlay. If you guys are interested, look me up on Facebook or Instagram or Twitters. I would do Pete Rodriguez inside the distance. Tatsuro probably inside the distance as well, and then Victor Henry KO.
Damn. Oh, let me see if I can get that. So you got Tyra inside the distance.
Yeah. I would do Rodriguez KO, Tyra inside the distance, and the other guy, Henry KO.
Rodriguez KO is minus 300. That is wild.
Yeah,
That is wild.
because that's a decent line. I mean, what else do they think is going to happen?
I don't know, but I'm definitely freezing a bit over here. But
It's all good.
so that parlay is plus 1,033 on the odds.
Just those three guys?
Using those props, yeah.
I might. That's not bad.
If you're prop betting those, Tyra wins inside the distance plus 240, Rodriguez by knockout minus 300, and Henry by knockout plus 150. That's plus 1,033.
There you go, Forrest Daniels. Put $1 on it, and then buy me lunch.
Put $1 on it and buy me lunch.
That's a shirt right there.
And with that, I like that. As far as my parlay, I kind of just like a simple double. You know, let's look a double. Was it the double tools and I don't know.
Double or boil in trouble.
There you go. I like that. What's up, Nick? Appreciate you being here with us. But yeah, let's close off with this. I just like a little double with Tyra and our girl Grasso at even money. You know, I like even money. 2 teamers. Keep it simple, nice and easy. Easy bread. Give me Tyra. Give me Grasso at even money at minus 101. I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I don't need to go crazy, you know, especially on parlays. Yes, I know the whole thing is, you know, you want to win a lot. That's the whole point of a parlay. You know, you get better odds. But I like to play it safe here. Let's play it safe. Let's get a nice little 2-teamer. Alexa Grasso, Tatsuro, Tyra. And let's keep it moving for the next day. Because next weekend, UFC 280. Holy shit, that is finally up next week. And that is at 10:30 in the morning, I believe, Eastern Standard Time. So sipping on some coffee, watching some fights. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll be back next week breaking that down. Big fight card down for you guys here on the Props HQ Network. But before we go, my man Joe Danger, Jesse Hobson, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Joe_Danger, Instagram, Real Joe Danger, Facebook, Jesse Hobson. But I think I met my you're not allowed to add anybody, or people aren't allowed to add you. So just wait till I piss somebody off, and then you can add me on Facebook. Jesse Hobson is your friend when you need a friend. Right, Garrett?
Right. That's what you're here for. You know, Jesse Hobson. If you need a friend, Jesse Hobson's here for you. Don't worry. Just send him a message. He's there for you guys. He's there for you.
Or season 2, episode 1 of Tiger King. So there you go.
You're there too. But also, guys, we need you to go to the Props HQ Network. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. Also follow Props HQ on all social platforms, as well as Playmaker. And guys, go to PrizePicks.com. Sign up there. Use promo code PropsLive for 100% deposit up to $100. Make some money. Easy peasy. Over unders. Couldn't be any easier. We will see you all next week. Breaking down some more fights. Putting money into your pocket. We will see you then. We are out.